Hey, how you doing? So this is Neil, and this is from masterpaintingnow.com. The link's in the description. So I am a top art instructor on Udemy. I'm going to be showing you guys here how to do some corrections. There's some student drawings I'm going to be showing you in a second, but I just want to show you here over 58,000 students now. So yeah, definitely check that out. All right, and so this is some sketches from my students from my anatomy course for mastering the human figure. Definitely check that out. If you go to my website below, the Master Painting Now website, that course and 3 others you can get for only $10. They're on sale right now. Normally they're $100, so check it out. So I'm going to show you a cool trick here. Well, not a cool trick, but just going to give some advice on how to fix things like this. This is a common mistake, so I wanted to go ahead and address this. The common mistake here is you can see that the rib cage and the hips are too wide. So obviously all you have to do is just make them thinner. Let's go ahead and look at. And then also I'm going to show you something with the female. This is another thing I find that students get wrong is the female. Okay, so taking this one here, I'm going to go ahead and reduce the opacity a little bit here so we can draw on top of it. Alright, so I'm in Photoshop. So what I like to do is I like to draw the actual collarbones right here like this. You can just do it as two simple lines like this right here. That's just representing where the collarbones are going to go. You can also just do this kind of like oval circle here for the top of the rib cage. And I sometimes like to go and just drop in where I know the neck is going to be. Anyway, so then what you want to do is you want to, if the head is, let's say, this wide right here, you only want to go that distance across, and that's going to be the widest parts of the body. Right? So if you understand that and you just draw some lines coming straight down, you don't want to go wider than that. And that's going to be like where the shoulders maybe would go. I would actually draw this in thinner like this. Right? And the reason, unless I'm doing a man, and the reason why is because you're going to come out here and the muscle is actually going to come out like this. Right? So that's going to be the actual arm muscle. So you want to make sure that you have enough room for that. So basically all you have to do is just take the rib cage and make it thinner. Just go, hey, I'm going to go right about, about this thinness. So you want about that much space on each side. So it's, if you want to do it like as far as like, okay, that's how thick a head is, my rib cage is going to be like halfway. And imagine straight lines coming down like that, and that's going to be your, where your rib cage is going to be. So basically just cut this in half and this in half, this space here and this space here in half. And that tells you how wide you want your rib cage to be. The pelvic bones are going to be about the same wide. And remember the rib cage is kind of shaped like this, so it kind of comes out first and then it comes in. And oops, then it comes up here like the, oops. I like to try to do my sketch lines in one movement. So you know that the pelvic bone is going to be the same right here, especially with the man. And I like to just kind of do this like kind of heart shape for my skeletons, like so. Because when you come out here, this right here is going to be skin. Remember, right? You're going to have the pec muscle attached here. It's going to come up like that. You can maybe have it a little bit higher. And then you're going to have the muscle come here. It's going to come out like that. Right? So you got to have all that there. You have the belly button in here and so forth. Now, if it's a female, I'd actually make this a little bit shorter too. You just need a little bit more room for the fatty tissue and stuff. So right here, remember this? Right, this would be like about where the love handle would be, and love handle kind of comes and it's shaped like this, like the actual muscle, and then it comes up here like that. And then with the guy, this is going to come, the widest part of a man is going to be like right about the thigh muscle is going to be shaped more like this, more muscular. You have the knee, right? Get the idea. So that's how you want to do the female skeletal structure, or male or female. Now, if you do female, there's only a couple of things you want to change. That is, you want to make the hip a little bit wider and shorter, so it come out like this. That's all that happens. That's all the difference. It doesn't come out like that over there. And then this bone here is going to come out further. So with the guy, I would draw this down like, I would just draw this like this, because you're going to have the love handle here, and it's going to come down, and then you're going to have the leg muscle like that. So that's how the guy is going to look. The female, this right here is going to stick out more. So notice that all I did, he was already kind of drawing a female figure here. These leg muscles, the leg, not muscles, the leg bones, that is the femur bones, are coming out way too far. A man would come like this. This is how a man's structure looks. And then come in, because this bone always comes in, and you can kind of curve this one if you want to, like this, right? That's with legs close together. So that way when you draw the muscles here, that was a really buff dude. It's like that. Then you have the knee, then you have the calf coming down. So if I were to draw this on both sides, right? So the legs here are almost touching. These muscles are so big. But you can already see that starting to look like a dude, right? That's what you have to change mainly for the guy. You have the pec muscles coming in here, right? I know that's kind of sloppy right now, but gets the idea across. Okay, so now with the female, I'm going to show the same thing, but I'm going to show kind of the mistakes that he made with the female. Oops, didn't mean to zoom in. I meant to slide over. Again, so for female, I like to come up like this for where I'm going to have my collarbone. And so this right here is pretty fine. When I draw, I just kind of do little things like that. Because the point is of the skeleton, you're trying to draw fast. The reason why you want to get really good at drawing the skeleton is so you can do stick figure type gestures. You know, like what if you wanted to, I don't know, draw someone leaning back like Matrix style. You want to be able to just do that quickly, you know, and then just kind of pull that line through. That's the legs. Pull the line through like that. So you have that back bending. You have the head here. You have, then you have like a side view of the. You can start to make side view of everything right here. A little bit too long. That's fine. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe this arm is coming like this. That arm is coming like that. Right. So it gives us a quick idea of what the character looks like, what they're doing. If you wanted to draw, let's say, that's probably fast for me to erase this. Draw something like, I don't know, maybe the person is jump kicking or something. You can do all that. Is he jumping forward? Is he jumping back? You can, do all this and lean like that. There's his hip structure. This leg's coming out here like this. That's the foot. And then this leg maybe is coming up like this. Foot's coming down. Maybe the head's kind of forward. So you can start to kind of visualize what that would look like with just basic shapes. And maybe this arm's coming forward, and this arm's like this. That's kind of a not so. But see, I didn't waste much time to figure out that no, that's not what a jump kick would look like. I don't like that. Like, it's not quite right. And so you can mess around with that anyway. So that's the importance of being able to draw the stick figure. It's really cool for doing gesture drawings, and then you can make your gesture drawings. Add more details as you start to memorize them. So the first thing is that was wrong here. Is you take the distance from here, and then you want to go. The arm should come all the way down here to the crotch area. So I'm gonna, instead of drawing over, I'm gonna redo this for him. Right. So let's go ahead and take the arm all the way down here. That's where the wrist is going to start. And you have your hand shaped like that. Okay. Remember, the hand is about this big. Right, so it's almost the size of your head. See, it goes up to your eyebrows. From the palm to your chin, about to your eyebrows. That's about how big your hand is. You want to take this distance from here to here, so from the shoulder to the wrist. And you want to cut that in half, and that's going to be your elbow area, which is also going to be the bottom of your rib cage. So as you can see, he just kind of got some proportions wrong. And this is why the proportions are so important. You want to make sure you get these proportions right. Right, and that would be like for the female. And then coming from the crotch area upward here, it's going to be about the same wide as the rib cage, maybe a little bit wider, but you don't want to go too much wider. Because this isn't the widest part of the female figure. The widest part of the female figure is going to be, that's where the belly button will be, is going to be the actual femur bone. So the femur bone is right. Remember, you have the head here. If you come out to about the size of the head and draw straight lines, that's as wide as you want anything to be on the female figure. So you would come here, you'd come out like that, here, come out like that, and then you would come in This is another mistake I see my students make a lot. They don't draw the leg coming in like that. It's really important because when you're standing the legs together, that's how your bones look. They actually curve in like that. The femur bone does. That's the shape of it. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here so you can see the whole figure. Go back to my thing here. Then I'm going to come almost straight off with that, and then I can come with the foot. I would actually probably come a little bit further down and make my foot like that because it's a front view of the foot. So if you want to draw it, you can do it more like that. That kind of represents more of the toes coming over the heel. It's just basic shape at this point, though. You want to just get good at shorthand and just doing basic shapes. And so you can kind of see already, just from these two quick over sketches, how one looks more female and one looks more male. Right? And it's just those couple basic things is all it changes. Really, it's in the hips mostly. So, all right. So the next thing is I wanted to show really quickly here was if you do a sketch over this. Just kind of shows, oops, wrong layer. There we go. So if you do a sketch over this, you have the pec muscles, like I said, they come like right about here. They connect to the collarbone. They come like that, connect to the arm bone. Then on top of that, you have the fatty tissue. So the fatty tissue, and actually the pec muscle would be a little bit longer than that. Because you have your sternum here. Then you have the rib cage, this bottom rib cage. So the pec actually connects to that bottom rib cage like that. Connects to about 3/4 of the collarbone, then it comes down and connects to the arm. Right around here you have a fat tissue that connects to the pec muscle, and that's where the breast comes off of. And remember, the breast, as it has fat, it kind of comes off at an angle like this because it's laying against the rib, and it has to go around the rib, right? Now I notice another thing I see happen a lot is when you do a drawing over your stick figure. I notice my students will sometimes they'll draw this. If your rib cage is only this wide, then you don't want to make your breast much wider than that. So the breast would come at an angle off like this, but you only want part of the breast coming off that rib cage, like so, because the breast rests on top of the rib cage, right? So the rib cage has a curvature to it, like that. And so from the side view, like this, you have the breast coming. And they're resting on the ribcage. See that? Like boom, like that. So it's coming all the way around to the sides. If you look at someone from the side view, their boobs are wrapping all the way around. Anyway, I have a whole lesson here on my channel for how to draw breasts. So just keep in mind they have the kind of angle to them, and you don't want to go off the ribcage much. That's the important part. That's the part I see people that mess up a lot is they try to come off the ribcage too much. Also, there's space between the breasts unless a woman has a bra on or something, there's going to be this space right here where the sternum is between the breasts. So you're not going to have, I'm going to erase some of that. You're not going to have the breast being pushed together unless they have a bra or something that's pushing the breast together. And then you have this little piece of skin right here, like that. And then you want to make sure you have this skin right here. This whole area is important. If you look at a woman before her breasts start to slope outward, it's all flat right up in here. And that's important to remember and get that right. Otherwise your figures won't look correct. And then your neck and the back muscle, the back with the neck muscles there. And then your shoulder here comes down, bicep and so forth. Right, so if you get this part right on the female figure, give her kind of more muscular form, then see the ribcage just naturally comes off right there. Imagine this coming all the way down to the crotch line. That's how I like to imagine it. And then you can have your right here, where the halfway point, that's where the woman starts to come out right here. That's her love handles, and then there's a little dip, and then there's this big right here. This is the widest part right here at the crotch line. And then her legs kind of taper in from there, and then you have the serratus muscle, and then these muscles like that. So it gives the leg kind of a shape like this. All right. You can have this kind of come close together if you want. The idea is basically that the overall shape you want here is right here, like so. And then this can actually just be straight like that. But if you want to, you could, make all this more correct. And you can come with the muscles right here. Like so. Just keep in mind there's usually only going to be a little bit, there, I'm going to kind of go like that. Usually only going to be a little bit of gap here, just depends on the female. So I probably have the legs a little bit too far apart out on the side over here, which is fine though. Right, so something like that. And that gives you that look. So the trick I like is that trick right there. Because if you can memorize what this right here looks like just memorize that shape right there, coming off in there, and then it's really easy to make that kind of female figure. So basically you can draw like a, just very quickly, and you can go, okay, I know that this is going to come down to where my crotch is going to be. I know that my breast will be somewhere in here. And so you can just kind of, just imagine that shape right here. And then, your collarbone and so forth. But you just know that right around here, you're going to have that shape coming out, right? So you have this kind of skirt shape and then coming in. And so if you just kind of imagine and memorize this shape right here, it's pretty easy to, and then you can have the bottom legs and feet, right? That shape right there, is really what helps you sell a female figure. And even though I'm not even trying to do anything fancy, you can already start to see the female figures there. Even though I haven't actually drawn anything that, it's supposed to really, it's all abstract, but you can see, hey, that kind of looks like a female. And it's because that shape relation that I put in there is what makes it look female. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this has showed you something. And again, it's a common mistake that my students make, with when they're drawing the stick figure. So just remember, the basic idea is to, I'm not going to show how to do the whole stick figure right now because that's part of my course, but I have some other free tutorials here as well. It's important that when you divide this in half, divide that in half, divide this upper part in half, you draw the head in here. Now remember, the head is one segment long. You take that segment and divide it in half. The half of that length segment, that's how wide it is. So if you want to know the width, you just take this width right here, and that should be the same as this, these two lines. So this line and this line should be the same. So basically the half of the height of the head is how wide the head's going to be. And then you just take the head width, and now you just draw a line straight down, and that's how wide your widest part's going to be. So your hip bones, even for a female, isn't going to come out and touch that line. It's going to be like that. And then the femur bone will come out and touch that line maybe and come close. Then you have your legs here, come down like that. And then to get your rib cage, just remember to draw lines. And you can have this come all the way down, have the arm bones here. Just remember coming down to that crotch line, and you're coming here like this. And that's going to show the bottom of the rib cage. Remember, the rib cage is not going to come all the way out. So it's going to be more like that. That part's important. Now I made this kind of a long torso, but still get the idea. I can make the hip bones a little bit bigger, come up a little bit wider like that, and then this would come all the way down like this. This is so if I made it more fat, then all this right here would just kind of come straight like that. That is, you wouldn't have this little indent right here. Right, when a woman has more fatty tissue, that fills in. Then she just has that kind of shape like that. But a skinnier person is going to have that indent. So here I just got rid of it. And you can see this is a taller, more model type, so I'm going to make the breasts not nearly as big. They're not really going to extend out the rib cage really, like that. And then there's a lot of space here as well. We get the idea? So that's how you want to do it. If you keep those principles in mind, that the width of the body is three heads wide. So once you get the, and again, the segment, the height of a segment, that's how tall the head's going to be. To get the wideness of the head, just go ahead and divide that in half. That's how wide the head's going to be. And so you get used to drawing that shape right there. And that's the head. And then you just have two more heads next to it as far as width goes, and that's the width of the whole body. And that's all you have to remember. And then you just know that your rib cage is never going to fit out there. There's always going to be space between the rib cage. You can just draw an oval, and you can draw an oval down here. And just remember that these are never going to touch the sides. The only part that touches the sides is if you're drawing a female, and actually I would I would get used to doing this, overlapping your ovals. Makes it easier to kind of draw the figure properly. And then just remember that the only part that's going to come out wider is going to be here, right? So where the legs come out, and so right at the crotch line. So you can just take the basic shapes here, just kind of draw this kind of skirt shape right here like that, boom. And that's the basic idea of a female body right there. It's kind of like an oval turning into this kind of skirt shape. And then from there, this comes straight down, and that's where you have your knees. And then this comes out like that, and that's where you have your calves. And then you have your feet down there. You have your arms coming off like that, boom. And there you go. Now you have a female figure. And then you can draw the breast. Let's say you wanted to draw a big breast. Remember that majority of the breast is going to be on the rib cage. And as breasts get bigger, they fall down more unless they're wearing a bra to hold it up. Right? So like that. And then, from this, you can actually start to draw all kinds of, different cartoon type figures and stuff like that. So anyway, if you want to know more about all this, all your anatomy and all that kind of stuff, how is it I'm able to get these shapes and stuff, why is this line here, how everything looks from, and learn how to train your imagination to see all this very quickly, so you can just draw from your imagination, which is absolutely freeing thing, then check out my courses in the description below. Go to masterpaintingnow.com. That takes you to my site's homepage. I redesigned it so it looks a lot cooler now, I think. And yeah, so you sign up to the newsletter if you want to make sure you get up to date, because I don't do a lot of tutorials all the time now for free. But when I do them, if you want to make sure you stay up to date on all those cool free tutorials and lessons, then sign up to the newsletter at masterpaintingnow.com. And I only send a newsletter out once in a while, maybe once a month, if that. I'm going to try to get it down to where I do it like every 2 weeks. I want to get more free content. And yeah, so do that, and then also leave a comment if you want. If you have any sort of questions at all, leave a comment in the video. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, so you can also, subscribe and then make sure to hit the thumbs up, or not, excuse me, make sure to hit the bell notification. Because if you don't hit the bell notification, you're not going to get updates from me. But to make sure that you get updates from me, for sure, that is my free content, my free lessons and stuff, sign up to a newsletter. All you have to do is enter your email. All I use that for is to send out free stuff. That's it. Oh, and if I ever have a new course, I'll sometimes shoot out an email to say, hey, I got a new course out. But that's it. You pretty much hardly ever going to hear from me. But this will be sure that you don't miss my free content. That is, stuff like this and other stuff in the future, where I teach free stuff, or sometimes I just give a free lesson straight out of one of my courses. And yeah, so with over 58,000 students, happy students, and what's really cool about joining one of the courses, especially right now, if you get one on sale on my site for $10, what's cool about that is that it allows you to do stuff like this. It allows you to send me pictures, interact with me a little bit, get some feedback along the way. So while you're taking the course, you can kind of, hey, this is what I got done so far. What do you think? And I can kind of help you out. Like, hey, your hips are too wide. Remember that, like little tips like this, but I write it in text usually. And yeah, so it's really helpful to help you along the way, to help spot those mistakes that you're making. So, all right, yeah, so that's pretty much it. Again, thanks for watching. Thumbs up, and make sure to go ahead and share the video. That'd be awesome too, because more people can learn how to draw. All right, till next time.